Hey everybody, this is Jen. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going into the chicken run, but not for our chickens. We're going inside to harvest some elderberries. So come along and join me right here on Garden Jen's Journey. Okay, so we're in our chicken run. This is where we keep our chickens during the morning. They get let out to free range in the afternoon after they've laid their eggs. Otherwise, they hide their eggs on us. So they stay in here in the morning, or if we're gone away, we keep them in here because we do have predators. And so to keep them safe, they stay in here. But anyways, last year, or 2 years ago, time flies, we expanded the run to include these elderberry bushes. That way they can get shade. The chickens also eat the leaves and the berries that are low to the ground. So these elderberry bushes provide lots of things for the chickens. But being so, it is time to start harvesting some of these berries so the chickens don't eat all of them, and I can save them for medicinal purposes later on. These bushes are approximately 5 years old. I had planted them here myself, and we put them on the east side of the garage here because we have very bad winds because we live in farm country with open fields. So the winds, the westerly winds, are pretty bad. So they're back here. This also, when we had first moved in years ago, like over 7 years ago, this area here that you see, this area, whole area here, was a major junk pile. This is where the previous tenants had just piled a bunch of stuff that they didn't know how to get rid of. So we cleaned all that up, but I wanted to make this space usable, and because there was junk back here, you don't know what was in the ground, and so I didn't want to have a garden space where we're digging up glass and nails and that sort of stuff. So we planted elderberry bushes. That way it still was usable space that was growing a crop that we could eat. So they've been here, these bushes have been here 5 years now. So we have 2 right here, and then we have 1 right here that was transplanted from a sapling from here. And they're doing very good. So I'm going to take you in and kind of show you what these elderberries look like, and then we're going to harvest them. Alright, so these plants, when they're standing tall and upright, they're a good 9-10 feet tall. We had some pretty bad storms come in a little while ago, and the winds, even with the garage here, the winds and the rain kind of pushed a lot of these branches down, so that's why it looks a little bit shorter and stuff. But you can see how tall that they stand there. That's about 9-10 feet tall. So they're really tall plants, vigorous plants. You can see I've got some berries growing here. These ones aren't ripe yet, but I'm going to turn you around to the plant that's behind us. This is my garden on the other side that I'll shoot pictures from a lot. That's my garden, and then I'm on the other side of the fence here in the chicken run. Alright. So these are ripe elderberries. They're beautifully dark purple, which is the color that you want. And if you were to shake this bunch, they would fall off. So they're very ripe. We have some more over here. And then we have some right here. They're only partially ripe. We got more here. We have more here that the chickens were eating. You can see they're missing some. So yeah, so it's time to get these guys harvested. So I'm gonna set the camera down and just show you how easy it is to harvest these elderberries. Okay, so one thing to note about elderberries is they are not edible raw. So you can't just pick some off the tree here and eat them like you would other berries. Elderberries have to be cooked first before they can be consumed safely. A lot of people make elderberry pie, elderberry jam, things like that. I make elderberry syrup, which you can use to top pancakes and things if you like. But it's kind of a medicinal remedy, herbal remedy for colds and flus. You will find that elderberry is highly suggested to help combat flus and colds. I've also used this when I had COVID to help with that as well. There is contradicting information on whether you should use elderberries if you're dealing with COVID or not. So research it for yourself, use your own judgment. But I have used elderberry syrup to help with my symptoms for COVID. So I'm going to go ahead, and I just have a pair of snips here in a bucket, and I'm going to harvest the clusters that are completely ripe. I'm going to leave the other ones alone and come get them later on. But if I don't get the ones that are ready now, I won't have any, because the birds will come through and they will eat them all for me. So let's go ahead and start harvesting our elderberries. I also have to be kind of fast with this because I have to set my container on the ground, and the chickens are around here watching what I'm doing and hoping I'm going to give them a treat. These are just gorgeous berries. Okay, so after harvesting the ripe berries from this particular plant and then going over to the other plant, you can see I have quite a few elderberries, and this is just the beginning of the crop. There's plenty more berries that are still growing, some flowers that are still being pollinated, some chickens that are fighting over the dropped elderberries. But this is a very good harvest. I'm going to go ahead and take these inside, and I will sort through them. I'll take off the ones that aren't ripe, the green ones, and I'll set them on my dehydrator tray, and I will dehydrate them for future use. What I try to do also, because I am trying to create an ecosystem here as much as possible, is I leave some elderberries for our wildlife. I mean, I have plenty of elderberries here to get me through for a while. So I leave the other ones, especially the ones really up high, for the birds and other things. That way they'll keep coming back year after year and not only eat my elderberries, but also eat those harmful insects and things that come around onto the property. So that's one thing you want to remember when you're gardening, especially when you're harvesting edibles like elderberries and some other things. Leave some for the local wildlife that helps come in and protect your garden from the pests that might be looming around. So let's go inside and I'll show you how I dehydrate these. Okay, so to prepare these elderberries for use for later, I simply put them on dehydrator trays. Now I have a variable temperature dehydrator I got years ago, and you want something that's variable temperatures so you can turn down the temperatures of your dehydrator and not burn your food, so to speak. And that's especially true for elderberries. If you try to dehydrate them at too high of a temperature, they actually burn and they smell and taste nasty because they kind of have like that burnt taste. So you want to dehydrate them on a cooler temperature between 110 and 120 at most. So the easiest way I find to do these is I'll simply cut the clusters off the main stem and leave them like this and just put them on the dehydrator tray, because trying to get the individual berries off is a pain. And I'll take the green ones off because those are not ripe at all. So you don't want them in there. And some people shake them to break them loose, but again, I find just setting them on the tray like this allows them to dehydrate, and then you can shake them off later when you go to put them in your container. A bunch of green ones here. And I'll give the green ones and stuff back to the chickens because they pick through it, and whatever they don't eat they make into compost, so works that way. And again, you cannot eat these raw, so don't be tempted to just take them and stick them in your mouth. You'll get very sick if you do. Okay. Do one more cluster, and that should make that a full tray. Alright. So there we go. We have a full tray of elderberries, and I'm going to continue and get the rest of these done. I'll stick them in my dehydrator. I run my dehydrator almost 24/7 this time of year, especially since I do lower temperatures. It takes things longer to dehydrate. But I'll dehydrate these probably at least overnight. We live in a very humid area, so that's generally safe to do overnight to make sure there's no moisture. And then I'll put them in my canning jars, and depending on how much I get, if I have more than one canning jar full of these, I do vacuum seal them, and they last a long time. So I'm going to show you what these look like once they are dehydrated. Okay, so this is what my dehydrated elderberries look like. They're a lot smaller, and you see I still have all the branches in here. But for what I use it for, the branches are fine, because when I cook the syrup, everything is cooked together and then all this is strained out anyways. So the branches don't bother me. But if you're doing pies or something, you're definitely going to want to carefully pick these branches out of here, which isn't difficult to do. It's just a little time consuming. But I find it's faster to do it this way than to try to get all the berries off those branches in the beginning. Just my personal preference. And then I simply store them in these mason jars. And again, depending on how many I have, this is a 2-quart jar, a half gallon. I will vacuum pack these, and they will keep for a long time dehydrated like this. I will put a link to a video above that I did on making elderberry syrup. And if I can't find that video, I will definitely do another video to show how to make elderberry syrup. So I will link the video above, depending on if it's a new one or an old one. So go ahead and watch that video, or be watching for that video. And it's very cool on how you can use these guys to help your family get over being sick a lot faster. Okay, so that is how you harvest and preserve elderberries. I hope you found this video informative and useful, and I thank you for coming along with me on another journey in my garden today. Please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below so you can stay updated on when I post more content. And as always, I hope that wherever you are, you're wonderfully blessed. So until next time, everybody, bye-bye.